A workshop to develop groups in the Virgin Islands to address energy policy was held June 14th through June 16th on St. Thomas. The U.S. Department of Energy supported the program through its Energy Development in Island Nations Partnership. What follows are some highlights, starting with a presentation by Bevan Smith, Director of the Energy.
Another great thing that happened to me was the adoption or the selection of the Virgin Islands as part of the Energy Development in Island Nations project. That brought with it a lot of technical assistance, those areas where we had to spend months to get consultants to come and we pay per diem. That was taken away with a stroke of a pen with that MOU signed by the governor earlier this year. So these were some of the major things that happened, and I can't forget Act 7075, with the Virgin Islands, for the first time, the Renewable and Alternative Energy Act of 2009 pulled everything together and started to put into legislation mandates that the territory should have been doing over the years.
And as president, I am always looking for opportunities where the university can play a more dominant role in trying to assist the Virgin Islands to move forward. So a few months ago, when I was invited to a meeting of some various stakeholders who were concerned about the issue of renewable energy and green technology, I was very excited about the role that the university could play in moving this effort forward. And so we convened a meeting here at the university of a number of key stakeholders. And since that meeting, we have been nurturing and cultivating the idea of creating a center for green technology. And the title that you see on the board or on this PowerPoint is the tentative title for the center that we are presently exploring. And I know for those of you who may not come from an academic background per se, or presently in an academic background, the whole notion of center for us really means one of the places, not just physically, but intellectually, emotionally, etc., where we are collaboratively exploring ideas that can make a difference in a particular field, both from a theoretical standpoint and also from a practical standpoint. And when we envision this notion of a Caribbean Center for Green Technology, we are hoping that it will address both of those perspectives. That is, the idea perspective and the practical application perspective. So what I'd like to do in my time is just give a little brief overview of the kind of organizational structure that we see being involved. Once I began to think about us having a center here, I reached out to Dean McHale, who is the Dean of our College of Science and Math, and she likewise was excited about this idea, and she has clearly put even more energy into this. We have been fortunate also to be able to connect with two outstanding scholars in the field, Dr. Cowell and Dr. Cameron, who I'm sure if you haven't met, will meet. They have been very helpful to us in trying to shape this particular structure.
What I'd like to do in this talk is talk a bit about the framework that we can use, and we're going to call it the working group framework, to engage the public, engage our shareholders, engage our citizens on moving forward for this. And that's what I'm going to go through in this brief talk. So to go back to, I can't say center operating because that gets me in trouble. The Basil point earlier, just a brief thing on motivation. You know, why is it so important that we do this now and we do this here? And this is really what created the impetus for EDIN out of the Department of Energy, is to say, you know, if we can't get renewable energy and energy efficiency to work on islands, where can we get it done? And so, as you guys know, this is preaching to the choir. When oil went above 100, and I think we're missing a point here, it went until about 145. It crippled, you know, it crippled this economy, and really, as Basil mentioned this morning. People are making decisions between paying their water bill and buying drugs that they need. So we certainly feel the real cost of electricity and power more here on islands than we do elsewhere. And if you look at Foreign Policy is a pretty hard-nosed publication, pretty conservative publication. Here's what they think oil is going to do in the coming years and decades. So they think the most likely thing for it to do is to go back up towards that 150. And they think the bottom end range is $50 a barrel, and the top end range is over $200 a barrel. In this analysis, and they make it explicit in this analysis, this doesn't include what they call catastrophic events. So, the whole mess in the Gulf Coast that hadn't happened before this. Anything that might happen in the Middle East, that's not included in this. So it's so important that whatever we're going to do, we do it in such a.
The idea is that that would be put along the entrance road to the airport adjacent to the taxiway. Be a nice physical project. We're estimating it's about 325 kW, but of course it's going to depend on price proposals as they come in. There's fixed dollars available. The Energy Office also gave a grant to the Juan Louis Hospital in St. Croix. I believe that's a 30 kW system, and Percy has told me that it's kind of in the design phase currently. This summer, we'll be installing anemometry for wind measurements. Included at those stations, we're going to install some pyranometers to measure the solar resource. We've got a fairly good sense of an annual average solar resource here where you can.
The offshore is again taking over both for oil and gas platforms that need big amount of electrical power to be brought from shore, and also for offshore wind farm applications that need to deliver that vast amount of electrical power generated to onshore. These and also interconnections between countries and islands open new markets for submarine power transmission, especially when latest development in HVDC technology, so-called HVDC Light, that's the name it's marketed, was introduced by several manufacturers. We'll cover the advantages of HVDC light technology later in this presentation. It's a mature technology, the submarine power transmission, so it has been utilized all over the world. This graph shows some prominent examples. This is not a complete list, of course, but to show some examples where the submarine power transmission is used. If you look at Europe's map, there is a web of submarine power cables, especially in northern part, Scandinavia, Baltic Sea, Northern Sea, and this map here shows both existing, the ones under development, and also conceptual submarine power transmission links.